Kevin J. Johnston, the #1 name in the land of the North, he's risen to fame. 40 years deep in the law he's read. Now the CRA shakes in fear and dread. Stop paying tax forever, my friend. With Kevin J. Johnston, the fight doesn't end. Corporate debt, he'll make it all good. He's the man the CRA misunderstood. They vanish like mist when Kevin shows up with his legal fist. No more matching, no more lies, just clean-cut books and clear blue skies. Stop paying tax forever, my friend. With Kevin J. Johnston, the rules start to bend. The CRA can scream and shout, but Kevin knows how to throw them out. They claim they've got the final say, but Kevin proves there's a better way. He fights for truth, he fights for you, and teaches what the courts won't do. Forever today. Let Kevin J. Johnston show you the way. The expert, the rebel, the man with a plan. He's saving this nation, one client per hand. He's got 40 years of tax law knowing and corporate skills that keep cash flowing. GST, payroll, all in line. He'll save your neck and every dime. He studied law, both civil crime, and makes tax code sound so sublime. With stand-up jokes and punchlines tight, he makes your seminar a night of light. Kevin J. CRA just runs away. He's the tax manslayer with a legal plan, the best-looking genius in the land. Kevin J. Taking all your tax away. If the government's scared, then it's safe to say he's the hero of the North, Kevin J. 2 million women cast their vote, said Kevin's hot, that's all she wrote. The suits at CRA can't compete, he's beaten them clean without deceit. 100 mil he's saved so far, he's raising truth like a legal star. And if you think you owe the state, he'll show you how to terminate. Kevin J. CRA just runs away. He's the tax manslayer with a legal plan, the best-looking genius in the land. Kevin J. Taking all your tax away. If the government's scared, then it's safe to say he's the hero of the North, Kevin J. The tax act's just a paper myth unless you work for CRA, no ifs. He buys your corp, clears every cent, then laughs while walking from the government. Restructure payroll, skip the fees, fire the tax man with graceful ease. He's winning battles in the courts each day. Soon he'll cost the feds $1 billion. Hooray! Kevin J. CRA just runs away. He's the tax manslayer with a legal plan, the best-looking genius in the land. Kevin J. Canada's freedom ray.
Jay Johnston here. Welcome to the Tax and Money Show. That is live every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on freedomreport.ca. Tonight we are talking about TIK TOK income and the CRA, where I'm going to guide as many of you as I possibly can down the pathway of never paying tax again. A lot of influencers are out there, a lot of people with side hustles, a lot of you have part-time jobs, some cases third jobs. It is crazy to think about how much tax you could be paying if you didn't know me. We're going to cover that well, because I did have someone contact me who is making $2 million a year on social media. Well, actually, just he gets paid $2 million a year. Doesn't know what to do with his money. Asked me if I could do a show specifically for him. I said, okay, well, I won't do it specifically for you. I will do it because you are one of many out there who are involved in social media influencing. And I don't particularly care which kind of social media you're on: YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Gab, Twitter, X, whatever Elon calls it now. I do not care what your subject matter is. I couldn't care less about if it's good information, foolish information. I don't even care if it's the old school toilet flushing videos. If you're making money online, I want to make sure that you are never paying tax again. All right. And if you are a Canadian citizen and you are currently making money on social media or internationally online, you're just not going to pay tax if I am your tax guy. Now, for all of you out there who are curious about the job that I have advertised on TikTok, it's real. We're going to be putting hard postcard flyers out in many Canadian cities. We're going to be starting with Edmonton and Halifax. So if anybody's in the Edmonton region and the Halifax region, I pay $30 an hour, guys. And all you got to do is, when you're handing out these flyers, they're really easy to hand out too. You just get your phone going and film yourself doing it, because I can't police you being where I am right now. We're going to be hitting Toronto next month, folks. July, we have a really big campaign taking place in Toronto. So if anybody is really interested in delivering flyers or putting labels up on poles, putting my signs out there, let me know, because now it's time to put this face all over the country. Okay, so anybody who's in Halifax or Edmonton who wants to get started, I have postcards. I can ship them out to your home address. You take them, you go. All you got to do is have your cell phone running right there in your pocket and just tune. You get them out there for the public to enjoy. All righty. Yeah, I stuck it on. Yeah, okay, folks. I'll just address that one first before we get into the rest of tonight's show. I got a little bit irritated with, we'll call them former friends of mine, where I'm listening to grown men complain about the fact that they have no money. I said, okay, well, you have no money because you're paying tax. How's about you let me remove you from the tax system? I don't want to go to jail. That's what it sounds like. It sounds just like that to me. I asked the questions. What would make you think you're going to jail for me doing taxes? Well, I don't know, man. The government doesn't like you. Again, that's not an answer. What law do you think I'm going to break in relation to doing your taxes that would get you jail time and not me jail time if I'm the one doing things wrong? All right. No answer. And then I finally said, all right, well, look, if you want to keep paying tax, that's your right. But how about this? How's about you work for me? I've got a whole bunch of part-time work for you to get done, and it pays $30 an hour. Oh, I don't know, man. I don't really want to deliver flyers. I used to do that when I was a kid. Yeah, I'm kind of like growing past that now. Well, in a crappy economy like Canada's, nobody's past anything. And all of you know, I'm a millionaire here in Panama, but when I was in Canada, I was flat broke, taking every crap job I possibly could to put food on the table. That's just how life is. It goes up, it goes down. Sometimes you're wealthy, sometimes you're broke. I've been wealthy 3 times. I've been broke 3 times. It's how it is. Yeah? You are never above putting food in your belly, everybody. So I made a video objecting to the abject laziness of individuals who believe that pouring coffee in a corporate environment or delivering flyers is beneath them. So a lot of people said they wanted to do some work for me and get these flyers delivered. I'm thinking, okay, great. I will test those and see who's serious about it. I don't think my instructions were followed properly. My instructions were, go to my website and let me know you'd like to deliver flyers. Everyone DMs me on TikTok. Stop DMing me. I don't search through DMs. M's. I really, truly do not. And someone wants to deliver in Belleville, Ontario. Yeah, I'm not against that, guys. The postcards, they're actually incredibly cheap to produce. 1 million postcards cost me something like 75 grand to print. Distribution is the difficulty. It's not the printing. The printing is easy. There's printing companies everywhere, and I used to be involved in the printing industry for years. I still have contacts that can produce these postcards for me that, I don't know, like 1.8 cents a postcard. It's cheap, man. Distribution is always a difficult time. Oh, and I am going to break everybody's heart here. I think some of you have been saying, oh, hey, Kev, your teeth look a little bit whiter these days. Well, yeah, they do. I went out and got a really deep cleaning done, and I got my first of 3 whitening treatments done. Would anybody like to hazard a guess what a cleaning and a scraping and a whitening cost me in downtown Panama City? Go on. I'll wait. Come on. Somebody throw it in the chat room right now. What do you guys think that I paid for that? And I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, everybody, 25 bucks. Yeah, cost me $25. That's all that it was. And the next 2 whitenings that they will be doing, one next week and one the week after, are only $10 additional. Is that incredible or what? God, I love this country, everybody. Man. Which is why many of you should consider becoming digital nomads. It's okay to work internationally as a Canadian or an American or a Brit or an Aussie and live in Panama, where sky's the limit, guys. Sky's the limit. All right, let's dive into tonight's show. We are talking about the most common tax problems that Canadian online creators, YouTubers, TikTokers, Instagram influencers, streamers, affiliate marketers, and digital entrepreneurs face with the Canada Revenue Agency. And these are, number 1, everybody, number 1, not reporting cash, e-transfers, or crypto income. Now, keep in mind, what I'm reading to you first is what the CRA says the problem is. This is not what I say the problem is. This is what the CRA would prefer that you take into consideration when you are working in the digital industry that they cannot police. All right, so let's think about this. Number 1, in not reporting cash, e-transfers, or crypto income, many influencers assume income is only taxable if they receive a T4 or a T4A. And this is incorrect according to the CRA, not me. They say that revenue from PayPal, Stripe, Interact e-transfers, Square, cryptocurrency, sponsorships, affiliate commissions, and just in general consultations must be generally reported as business income. Well, that's their opinion. I will now share with you the Kevin J. Johnston opinion. Here's the solution. Number 1, I register a corporation for you if you run any social media platform at all. Number 2, I instruct you on how to hide your money through that corporation. And number 3, you make me your tax guy and I make sure you never pay tax again. That's it. If you have Stripe or Square or Wise or any of these payment gateways out there, or these international credit card systems out there that the CRA cannot control and cannot really police in any way, why would you tell the CRA you're making money? It's none of their business. In Canada, we all have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you to steal your money. So shut up. Stop talking to the CRA. If you have an online business and it's making money, make sure I'm your tax guy and you don't pay. Do not tell them. You do not have to tell them anything. And if you're going to have a Stripe account or a Square account or any of these other accounts out there, you want to make sure that you're doing it through a corporation, because the corporation can simply disappear. Even though the CRA is desperate for cash and they're looking for every way they can to get their hands on it, it doesn't mean that they know what you're up to. They only know how much money your corporation makes when you tell them. And that's what the tax return is. You see, if the CRA knew how much money you'd make, they would just take it from you. That's what they would do. Like photo radar, they would just take it from you. They would not ask you to fill out a form and then scrutinize it later. So, ta-da, like wake up, guys. I hope that some of you have angels humming behind your heads right now, but I'm not done educating you tonight. Here's another concern or tax problem, according to the CRA, that online creators and influencers have. 2, free products and sponsorships. So a company will send influencers clothing, electronics, travel, hotel stays, vehicles. Yeah, they do this. Suits, like that guy that just went past your head right there. Home decor, furniture, movie tickets, concert tickets, plane tickets. They'll give you anything at all if they feel that your audience is their target audience. The Canada Revenue Agency may, and this is from their words, not my words, may consider these taxable benefits if they were received in exchange for promotion or services. Well, they may kiss my ass. How does that sound? They may get bent. They may just buzz off, go away, leave us alone, because I'm not telling them. All right. Yeah. You know what? I have a lot of international clients, and my clients give me all kinds of really unusual things. Yeah. Cool stuff, I might add. Stuff I've never seen before. Electronics. I have been given electronics. I have been handed crypto as part of a promotion. I've been handed gold coins as part of a promotion. I've been given meal tickets and movie tickets. I've been flown all over Panama, going to beaches and whatnot. And it's all at the behest and at the cost of the wallet strings of the actual client who wants me to promote for them. I am not going to declare that as income at all. I'm just going to say, you know what? It's a gift. If a client of mine wants to give me a new car, like on The Price is Right, I'm just going to say thank you. Thank you very, very, very much. And let's just say, for argument's sake, I don't know, Ford. Ford realizes that the Chinese company Dongfeng is about to break into the States. And Dongfeng is selling pickup trucks right now here in Panama City, brand new for $18,000. What if Ford says, hey, Kevin, here's 3 brand new pickup trucks, one blue, one red, one white, like the Panamanian flag. Thank you for saying Ford's awesome. I'm keeping those trucks. They're mine. And I'm not going to be calling the CRA to say, hey, guys, I just got pickup trucks. But you'd be amazed at how many companies and how many stupid accountants and bookkeepers out there will call the CRA saying, my boss just got a gift. He just got a bottle of wine. Yeah, I've seen this done. When you hire an absolute loser who's terrified of the CRA to represent your taxes inside of your corporation, they'll snitch on you about everything that you get. It's called comp, everybody. If you are looking to get the best talent in the world promoting you, you got to give them stuff. Absolutely you do. Under no circumstances am I going to promote any whiskey products or vodka products or any vehicles out there unless I'm being either paid to do so or they're giving me what I want. All right, here you are. And I don't think any of you out there should be doing anything for free either. But keep in mind, if some company gives you a free hotel room, just go enjoy it. Say thank you. Send a thank you letter or a thank you email. Just say thank you and shut up about it. It's yours. So for all you TikTokers and YouTubers and Instagrammers and social media influencers out there, if you're a Canadian citizen, just be quiet about the gifts you get. Just be quiet about it. Take the suits, take the ties, shut up. Take the trips, shut up. Take the cash, the gold, the silver, the cars, the trucks, shut up. Take the vacation, shut up. What's that? A flight on a private jet and then a 4-day trip on a private yacht? Shut up. Just enjoy. It's yours. You've earned it. The Kevin J. Johnston solution, once again, I get you a corporation. I instruct you on how to hide the gifts and the promos that you get through that corporation, and I make sure you never pay tax again, because in your brand new corporation, we're simply going to tell the CRA whatever we got to tell them to get them to go away. We are not obligated to tell them anything about what you make. We're not obligated to tell the truth. We have absolutely no obligation to even put numbers on a tax return. And this is actual Canadian law, people. If you send in a tax return in Canada with just your name and signature on it, that's a valid submission of a tax return. So if you're allowed to send in a blank one, then you're absolutely allowed to send one in that's missing digits. And if they want to make an accusation that you made more money, you know what they'll say? We're going to audit you. And you're going to say, no, you're not. We will not be cooperating with the audit. You're officially banned from my property. If you come to my place, we're going to call the cops. So please, everyone, exercise your right to remain silent. Number 3, oh boy, this is something the CRA doesn't like, but they especially don't like it with internet influencers. Number 3, claiming personal expenses as business expenses. And they say this is one of the biggest audit triggers. It's not, but that's what they say that it is. All right. The CRA will say, well, we'll audit you. If we think you're doing it, we're going to audit you. I just told you, you don't cooperate with the audit. Right. And if you really want to win, we sue the auditor. All right. And we just drop the lawsuit when they drop the audit. That's how that works. Guys, you're allowed to fight back, completely. So examples, personal vacations claimed as content trips. Well, how would they know? If you go to another destination and you're an influencer and you hold your phone out here, hey man, what's up? I'm on the beach right now. Okay, good. You just worked. You just influenced on that vacation. So write the whole thing off. The flight, the hotel, the food, the diapers, the penicillin, if you're doing, write it all off. All of it. How would they know? Next is family dinners claimed as business meals. Okay, well, here's how that one works. You're having dinner, let's say you got kids, all right? The 4-year-old and the 7-year-old, and you take them over to McDonald's. And your kid says, hi, Daddy, how was work today? Boom, that's now a business meal, everyone. Write the whole thing off. Write it off. Better yet, you could be eating and jump on the phone and talk business with somebody. Get on a WhatsApp or Signal, and you can stare at each other face to face, and you can shove burgers down your throat while your client's shoving pizza down their throat. Both of you now have just had a business dinner. You can write the whole thing off. Is that incredible or what? Come on. Come on. You're impressed, right? And you're going to start doing this, right? By the way, 3.9 thousand, that's just not enough. We need everyone. Come on, guys. Double figure, 2 fingers. Let's rock it. The hearts over here have got to keep rocking all night long. Yes, I do answer questions in the last half of the show. Get your questions written down. Get them ready for me. I will address as many of you as I possibly can. Second half. They do not like personal vehicles claimed as 100% business use. Okay, well, that one, they kind of have a point. So just do 50%. Whatever, just work it out. Like do 48% 1 month and 55.6%, and then back to 39%. You just divvy it around. Don't be greedy, disproportionate to what you can prove and what they cannot prove. Yeah, but write off your vehicle as much as you possibly can. Who's that good-looking guy? Woo, already. Next, clothing claimed when it's suitable for everyday wear. Okay, well, let's talk about that for a second. All of you know that when you see me live, I'm always going to be wearing a black shirt. I have 60 of them, maybe more, in the closet. Put them on. I sweat a bit, take it off. It goes in the washing machine. Boom, brand new one goes on. Why do I wear black? Because I look horrendous in white. That's why. Absolutely terrible. And you've seen how big my girth is here. I'm a huge guy, sideways. So whenever I've got a white shirt on, whether it's a dress shirt or a white t-shirt, I can actually, with my peripheral vision here, I see nothing but my own chest. It's ridiculous. So I get sunlight bouncing off a white t-shirt, polluting my eyes. So I wear black. And who's to say, Canada Revenue Agency, that this black t-shirt was not going to be worn today for business? Well, obviously it is, because I go to the office 7 days a week. So even the underwear that I currently have on, that someone's going to have to clean with a blowtorch and a chisel, is business. It's for business. It's business attire. I'm not going to show it to you because, the skid marks are embarrassing, but I'm telling you that everything I'm wearing, including my running shoes, are all a business expense. If I'm wearing clothing and I'm on the phone talking business, everybody, you're damn right. Those clothes are now no longer everyday wear. They are business wear. So the CRA doesn't like it. Toilet paper. Yeah, we buy toilet paper for the office. I take some of it home, but I write the whole thing off. Paper towels. I'll usually buy 60 or 70, maybe 100 rolls at a time. I'll take 3 or 4 home. I leave the rest in the office. All right. I'm writing the whole thing off. I'm not going to call the CRA. Hi guys, how you doing? Over the course of 2025, I bought 419 rolls and here's the invoice. But guys, okay, hold on. I took 6 of them home. I don't know what to do. Don't put me in jail. Oh my God. That's how people see stuff. Just write it off, man. Write everything off. Doesn't matter what it is. The other thing I do want to point out is that the CRA will tell you that you cannot write off your haircuts. You can't write off your hair dues if you're a chick, talking on that website, OnlyFans and whatnot. Yeah, you can. Yes, you can. You could write all that off. And I've told you before, we do have an OnlyFans model as a client. I'm allowed to tell the story, just can't give her name. She came down, got bigger things because, men are idiots for that kind of stuff. And she makes more money. So the flight, the hotel, the surgery for bigger balloons, the penicillin or whatever they gave her afterwards, the drainage lines they got to put in, the nurse, the aftercare, the antibiotics, and the flight home. Plus it was marked up. So we wrote the whole thing off. Everything was written off as marketing. And when you know what you're talking about, that's the kind of thing that you can do for your clients. And I'll tell you this right now is that all CPAs out there, they know that you can do this, but they're too afraid to do this, which I find absolutely bizarre. Are very, very important. CRA and paperwork is not important. Paperwork is not important at all. Not when you're making money and you don't have to worry about contracts. If you sign a contract, you better keep the contract somewhere where you can get to it and fulfill it. But if it's just you making content and getting paid for it, who cares about paperwork? So number 4, poor record keeping. Influencers often have multiple bank accounts. That's good and that's legal. I have more than 60 bank accounts, more than 60. I actually need to go into my book and figure out how many I have. They have multiple PayPal accounts. That's good. You should have Stripe and Square and what's the other one out there? Oh man, PayPal. And there's a whole bunch of others. Guys, whatever there is in the way of a payment gateway, you should have it. There's also international ones. There's Russian ones. Yeah, even Panamanian banks are getting into this now. You know, Grenada's got this stuff. Have as many payment gateways as possible. Just make money. Bring the money in the door. The whole idea is your clients want to give you something, which is money, and you want to give them something back, which is probably information or entertainment. Take the money, hide it wherever you want. It's none of their business. There is no law in any Western country that says you can't have more than one bank account. So why would the CRA be concerned about this? Because they can't police it, because they can't threaten you. They can't hold anything over your head if you've got multiple PayPal accounts or multiple bank accounts, or here's one, multiple crypto accounts. Ooh, geez, what happens if you have a crypto hard wallet, everyone? What if you bought $25 million in XRP today, and then you move it to a hard wallet where you keep the wallet in a safe and you keep the 25 in another safe in another city, or you memorize it? Not the best place for it, but you get what I'm saying. If you convert all your money to crypto, which I currently do, and you have it on a hard wallet, which I currently have, good luck. And they don't like that. And I don't have any personal crypto accounts. It's all in corporations in multiple countries because I don't trust the CRA at all. Next would be affiliate platforms. All right, so affiliate platforms could be something simple like, what's that bank out there? Coho. Okay, here, let's start with Coho. If you refer a friend and a friend opens up a Coho bank account, which is actually a trust account, it's like a trust company, but they open one up and they spend a little bit of money on the Coho Visa card, you get 25 bucks. Now, let's just say, for the sake of argument, you shoot your mouth off and Coho realizes, oh my God, this guy brought us like 12,000 clients. What's 12,000 times 25 bucks? You're doing okay. So they just give you the money in that affiliate bank account. And the CRA doesn't like it because if you're smart, you would take all that affiliate income and you would move it into crypto, or you would move it into an American bank account, or you would divide it between a couple of corporate accounts in Canada where you are not listed as director, and a couple of accounts in the States, and an account here in Panama, and so on. Yeah, you just move the money around, and the CRA hates it. So they're trying to tell you that you cannot do this. But I'm telling you that you can do this. I'm proof of it. I challenge the CRA every single day to plead, would you sue me for something? And they won't do it. I'm telling the CRA is watching this right now. And I'm telling all of you, I've got more than 60 bank accounts out there, multiple PayPal accounts, multiple everything accounts. And they're never going to find them because I'm not the director of the corporations that have any of this. And you all need to do the exact same thing. And they really, really don't like it when you have an ad revenue account. Let's say, I don't know, Google AdSense. They suck, but something similar to Google AdSense where you're making some advertising money on your website. Well, hopefully you just leave that in your American account somewhere. Or what you can do in a lot of cases is you can convert what's in your ad source or ad revenue source account and tell them, yeah, you know what? Give me some crypto. Shoot me over Ethereum. Give me some Bitcoin. I'll take some XRP. Give me some Chainlink today. You know, I think Cardano's due. Give me some of that. I don't like Cardano, but you get what I'm saying, everyone. We are absolutely allowed to move what is ours anywhere that we want. The CRA can frown upon it all they wish. I do not care what the CRA chooses to be upset by. That's none of my concern. I am not one bit concerned about what anybody's policies are, and I simply do not care what any branch of the Canadian government has to say about what I do, and you should not care what they say either. So long as you are operating within the criminal code of Canada, everything is going to be fine. Remember what I've told you all. The Canada Revenue Agency does not operate within criminal law. It's civil law. They would have to sue you. The CRA does not sue people. Regardless of how many bank accounts you have, they're not going to sue you. Why? Because they lose all the time in real court. And when they lose, case law gets created. And when case law gets created, it's always in our favor and not theirs. So they're not going to sue you. They know they're going to lose. Don't worry about the CRA. They're not smart enough to figure this out anyway. So again, Kevin J. Johnston's solution is we open up a corporation for you. I instruct you how to utilize the corporation to hide all your money in Canada and the United States and Grenada and Panama, Colombia, wherever you want to put it. Any country that utilizes the US dollar, that's where you put your money. And I will, as your tax guy, make sure you never pay tax again. How's that sound? For those who are joining late, my name is Kevin J. Johnston. Obviously, Canada's biggest mouth, Canada's #1 tax expert, and we are talking about what the Canada Revenue Agency considers problems, tax problems for online influencers. All right, there we go. And yes, I do have a very big mouth, and it does not ever close. Even in my sleep, I'm sure I'm humming or singing or yelling something out. Don't share a bed with me because I'll keep you up all night talking in my sleep. There we go. Next is, my favorite. This is my favorite, everybody. GST and HST registration issues. Many creators do not realize that once they exceed the small supplier threshold, that obligations for GST might arise. Isn't it great that they want to tell us what we can and cannot do, and they're going to tell us what the thresholds are? So for my American friends who are watching right now, what I'm referring to is Canada's goods and services tax, which when it came out back in the early 90s was a 7% federal tax on everything: haircuts, food, movies, gasoline. Oh man, what else would it be? Cars, you name it. The goods and services tax was on it. It's pretty much the same way now. But then you've got the harmonized sales tax, because in Canada, every province, with the exception of Alberta, charges a sales tax on everything you buy. Again, the same stuff, shampoo and soap and whatnot. So in the province of Ontario, where they had an 8% provincial tax, and at the time, there was a 7% federal tax. The province of Ontario realized that they were not legally allowed to put provincial sales tax on services. So they made a deal with the federal government to merge the GST and the provincial PST into one, calling it the harmonized sales tax. So now you pay 13% on everything that you buy in the province of Ontario, 14% with the HST in Nova Scotia, and 15% still in New Brunswick and Newfoundland. That is absolutely ridiculous. Think about that, everyone. So what will happen here is the GST office wants you to register for a GST or an HST number if you make $30,000 a year or more. So common problems here would be registering late. They're going to determine for themselves that you've made money. If you're hiding your money the way I'm telling you to, they don't know. They have no idea you're making 30 grand. They know you've made $30,000 when you tell them on a tax return. But if you don't do a tax return in the first 3 years of operation, they know nothing. Absolutely nothing. So la-di-da. But then they'll say registering late. They'll say that you failed to collect GST or HST. You're not filing your returns. Oh, heavens to Betsy, goodness gracious me. Oh, Lord, whatever will I do? Woo! Or claiming improper input tax credits. Everyone does this, all right? So what happens in Canada? Let's say you make $1 million in the province of Ontario, all right? So what would happen here is you would be collecting $130,000 in harmonized sales tax that the government says, send everything to us. So the federal government takes the 13% HST and then gives the province of Ontario their 8% in provincial sales tax. That's, in theory, that's how it's supposed to go. I personally think that the federal government's ripping off the province of Ontario, but I can't prove it. So then you spend $2 million to make that $1 million. You take $2 million, subtract $1 million, and you realize that, oh, you know what? Actually, it's the other way around. Sorry. 1 million minus 2 million, you're in the negative. That's how it should be. So in the negative, you've lost money, which means you would actually be entitled to 13% back on the total amount of the losses. That's what's called your input tax credits. So if you spent $1 million on marketing and $1 million on opening up the business, that's a $2 million fee. You spent $260 million in HST, but you only collected $130,000 because you only made $1 million. They'll cut you a check for $130,000 in HST. And the reason that they do it is the economists that originally got involved with this back in the days of Brian Mulrooney. Ben Mulrooney, that idiot on CBC, his papa brought this whole thing in. So this tax was supposed to allow businesses to open and get some of the HST or GST back to give them the incentive to keep trying to make money. Yeah, think about that. So what happened here is that a lot of influencers, they don't know. Now, let's imagine this. You're a Canadian citizen, but you go to Mexico and you stay for 2 years and you're doing all your influencing in Mexico and you've got all your customers in Mexico and the United States. You don't even have a Canadian bank account, right? But then your mom calls you up. Oh, little Paulie, oh my God, you haven't done your taxes. Oh, the CRA is sending you mail. Ah! Yeah, this happens. This happens a lot, guys, where you've got influencers over there and they just forgot to change their address away from mom and dad's house. And mom opens the mail and mom freaks the hell out because the CRA says that they want you to do something for free. And then the influencer gets all stressed out and, oh, okay, and they do their taxes. And where they didn't owe any tax, now they do because you snitched on yourself. Wow, man. Why are you opening up other people's mail? Yeah, my mother used to do that when I was living at home. I moved out when I was 18 because I just had to avoid that kind of stupidity. She'd flip out when I got a bill. I'd paid the bill and she's still flipping out. Oh my God, you got a bill. Yeah, tends to happen when you have a credit card, So you might want to, if you've got a family member who's really nosy, make sure your mail goes to a mailbox or to a law firm or somewhere else, not your mother's place. But this happens. Families should not do any of these things. Oh, hey, yeah. Raven says your mother opened your mail. A lot of mothers do this. I've had a lot of clients, guys, a lot. And it's never the dad that opened up mail to see like, oh my God, the CR, there's a government logo on it. I've got to open this so I can freak myself out and panic and then phone everybody else to make them panic too. This happens all the time. Now, I know. I do taxes for a living. We save people hundreds of millions of dollars. And a lot of the problems come from the fact that nobody understands the tax issue and nobody understands that a letter from the CRA is just a letter where somebody took the mouse and went clicky, clicky, and a template letter was sent out the door. Factor that in. So even though a lot of you out there are making money, the CRA is going to tell you that they want you to have a GST or an HST number. But if you're not inside of Canada as an online influencer, who cares? You're leaving your money in the USA. You live in Florida, leave your money in Chase Bank. You live in Mexico, go to Banco Speedy Gonzalez. Go there and leave your money there. If you're here in Panama making money, there are 52 major banks and a whole bunch of boutique banks out there. There's banks everywhere. Put your money there. All right. And don't tell the CRA about it because you're not obligated as a Canadian citizen to tell the CRA about any money you made outside the country. That's the IRS. That's not the CRA. The United States and Eritrea are the only two countries on the planet where you have to report and pay taxes on money you made outside the country as a citizen. Think about that, everyone. Canada doesn't have pay-to-play citizenship, so you don't have to do anything that they say. Now, if you do decide you want to get an HST or a GST number, and let's say you make $60 million and you don't report it, but you collected the GST, you better call me so I can fix that for you. However, if you get caught, there's still no penalty for it, aside from them saying that we are going to assess you and then we're going to get a writ on your personal name for it. But if you are collecting HST and GST and you don't live in Canada and you're not remitting it to the CRA, Now, I don't recommend you do it that particular way, but nonetheless, if you do, that's on you. There's still no punishment. There's no punishment, period. And as for Raven saying you file in Canada if you reside in Canada, you file in Canada if you feel like it. If you feel like filing, you can do it. If you don't feel like filing, you don't do it. The biggest issue with everybody in Canada, folks, is that at some point you filed your first tax return. And when you file your first tax return, then you are now on the list. Now they're going to be expecting a tax return from you forever. But for all you young men out there who are 15, 16, 17, and you just got your first part-time job, it's in your best interest to never file a tax return for your entire life. Now, a lot of people say, but if you do that, you're not going to get Canada Pension Plan. And again, God bless my mother, love her, but she used to say that to me all the time. She didn't like the fact that I would open up corporations in my teens and 20s and 30s and 40s and not pay tax. She hated that. You're just not going to get a pension. That's how her mind worked. I said, yeah, but Ma, I'm buying property and I'm buying gold and silver, which is going to be worth more than a stupid pension in the future. So you go ahead and pay tax and I won't. How's that sound? So when she finally did get her first pension check upon retirement, I laughed because it was only like $950 a month. Like I'm going, all those years you worked for $950 a month. What did you think that you were going to get in the way of a pension from the Canadian government? Who cares about pension? Period. It doesn't matter. And I hear so many other weak minds out there telling me, well, I need employment insurance in case I lose my job. Well, hold on a second here. What that means is that you're already thinking like somebody who has lost. If your biggest concern is a $900 or $950 pension, and then your second biggest concern is having employment insurance so you can sit on your ass and do nothing, then really you have already programmed yourself for failure. Don't think like that. Who cares about EI? You know, by the time I can collect a pension from the Canadian government, I bet mine's going to be about $30 a month because I contributed to it in my teens when I didn't know any better. And I haven't contributed to it since I was like 23 or 24. So I'll get that, $30 a month. But you know what I'll do? I'll take it and I'll give it to the local coffee shop here and suck back a few coffees and say, thank you, Canadian government. All right. So let's not think stupidly. Canada Pension Plan is going to be empty by the year 2032. And EI, employment insurance in Canada, they're already broke. They are finding every way imaginable to not pay you. They're worse than private insurance companies now. Thank you for that. They are worse than private insurance companies for not giving payouts. You're better off getting rich and not paying tax. All right, let's go to our next solution here. So again, if you are an influencer and you don't feel like paying Canadian tax and you want to hide your money, you just call me. I'll register your corporation for you, train you in how to hide your money in Canada, in Grenada, in the United States, in Panama. I'm going to teach you how to put your money into property so that you can never lose your money. I'm going to teach you how to buy and move gold and silver around the world. And if you stick with me, folks, over the course of the next 2 years, I'm going to be showing you how to purchase copious amounts of gemstones and be able to move them worldwide. Yeah, I love making money, and there's so much money to be made out there just so long as you're not paying tax. All right, let's move on to our next slide here. So the Canada Revenue Agency says that another common tax problem for influencers online, especially TikTokers, would be income from companies such as Google and YouTube. Well, there was a day when I made a lot of money on YouTube. Those days are gone. And then there's money from TikTok. You know, I don't seem to make a lot of money on TikTok. I make a lot of money from people watching me on TikTok becoming clients. I can't imagine TikTok's going to give me anything more than like $5 for tonight's show. Don't spend it all in one place, I guess. I'm still not going to declare the income. I'm just not going to do it. But then you've got Meta, Facebook, Instagram, and then you've got Amazon Associates. You've got all these book clubs out there. You've got Andrew Tate's affiliate marketing plans. All of these things are, they're paid from outside of Canada. And some creators mistakenly believe that foreign income is not taxable in Canada. Canadian tax residents generally report worldwide income because they're stupid. That's why. Not because they have to, but because they believe they should. Because they think they're going to go to jail if they don't. If you are a Canadian influencer and you're actually influencing from inside of Canada and you're involved with any of these major corporations making money, then you open up an American corporation, which you can do for less than $200, drive to Buffalo, drive to Seattle, drive to any of these places, open up a bank account and put all of your earnings from social media into an American bank account. And then shut up about it. It's your money. Stop talking. The CRA will have no clue that you've opened up a corporation in the United States. How would they know? They have no clue. They don't even know how to tie their own shoes. How would they know? Well, you tell them, right? You tell them. That's how they know. So the solution again, everyone, contact Kevin J. Johnston. I open up a corporation for you. I teach you how to move your money and hide your money, and you never pay tax again. Number 7, CRA does not like it when international influencers online mix personal and business banking. Oh my God. I do it all the time. Well, actually, not anymore because I don't have personal bank accounts anymore, but all the time I would do this. I ran checks through any bank account that I could possibly have cash that check. I would go to Money Mart in some cases and cash checks and so on. So when personal and business transactions are mixed together, according to the CRA, not according to me, audits become more difficult. Thank God. Let's make auditors' lives as difficult as we possibly can. Man, wouldn't that be incredible? You know, with auditors, let's just say, for argument's sake, that you ran 7 businesses and your mother's business and you paid for all your grandmother's bills through one personal bank account. And then you get audited and they go through this entire statement of things and they're going to ask questions and you're going to say, like, I don't know. What's this baby food here on June 3rd of 2017? I don't know. Well, you bought it. Did I? I don't know. My grandmother's got a card to my account. My mother does. I don't know. Could you imagine an auditor doing that? They just get upset because they have to spend more time auditing you if you're foolish enough to allow the audit to take place in the first place. They have no right to come into your business at all, aside from if your business is open to the public as a retail establishment, in which case they can walk into your lamp store or your couch store or your video game trading store and say, I'm with the CRA and I got this card here and I want to see your files. I want to see them now. And you tell them, get the F out of my store now. Get out now. You're done. Go. They have to leave. Get mad, put that look on your face and send them packing. That's what you do. All right. And you don't have to cooperate. And then you issue a no trespassing notice. You call the cops too, file a police report, just whatever it takes to get them out the door, get rid of them. All right. Expenses. The CRA says that expenses are harder to prove when you mix your personal and your corporate. It's not a matter of they're harder to prove. It's a matter of the CRA just, they're lazy. They don't really want to do the work. And they like to deny as many things as they possibly can until you sue the individual auditor or agent personally, in which case all of a sudden, all your expenses are just A-okay, everyone. And the CRA may reconstruct income from bank deposits. Well, if you never cooperate with the auditor in the first place, then they're not going to have access to your bank slips. Why would you want to print out your bank slips and give them to anybody? Even if a judge tells me to do it, I'm going to say, yeah, no problem, Your Honor. But then I'm going to appeal it right there on the spot because I'm not doing it. I'm not going to let some guy in a dress tell me what to do. Those days are done for me, period. And judges do look ridiculous in that black dress. It's all theater. It's theater. What is it? Man, maybe somebody go to ChatGPT or Perplexity and find out why a grown man has to wear a black dress to be a judge in a courtroom. It's a dress. You know, like imagine The judge walks in. You say, all rise. The judge walks in wearing a dress and goes like with a curtsy. Hello, everybody. Oh, I'm Justice Jones. Ooh, let's do some. It's dumb. It's silly. It's childish. And I know that the courts don't like me because I perceive them to be exactly what they are. It's a dog and pony show, man. It's just theater for the masses to be afraid. God. And then the CRA is not going to take you to court, so you'll never see the inside of one. And on point number 7 here, everybody, we've got Kevin J. Johnston's solution is to register a corporation. I'll instruct you on how to hide your money, and I'll make sure that you never pay tax again. Sorry, folks. I just got to do that little puzzle piece thing here on TikTok. Okay, we got it. All right. We hide your money. We got to move your money all over the world, everybody, to make sure that they do not see it. And we want to make sure that they are not going to be. That's how that works. Hold on, folks. I'm just going to switch cameras here. And there we go. All right. Next point that we're going to make here is failing to track shareholder loans. Now, again, who cares? All right. Your corporation, let's say you're an influencer. Let's say you're good looking like I am. Let's say you're charming like I am. Let's say you've got a great hairdo like I do. And let's say you're making a ton of money, more than me. Well, if you're making all of that dough and you're just making shareholder loans out to people, you're allowed to do it. It's your money. There's no criminal law that you're breaking by giving out shareholder loans. And let's just say you give out 40 shareholder loans to your entire team. And the CRA says, oh, you gave out these shareholder loans. And let's just say, here, check it out. All right. You're in an audit. And let's say you are a marijuana influencer. And let's just say that the CRA charms their way into your office. And first off, you've just taken 9 hits off your bong and you got a joint that's 3 feet long in your hand. I mean, you're high as a kite. And they say, you have 40 shareholder loans here. And you say, what? And they say, who'd you give the money to? Huh? That's what you're going to imagine. Why would you want to tell anybody who you're lending money to? That's between you and the person, right? Because the CRA still does not have any law that states that you must actually tell them the truth about who you gave money to. And here's the other one, is using corporate funds for personal spending. Oh my God, they hate that one. Well, too bad, everyone. You've got a corporation. You have a corporate bank account. The bank gave you a corporate credit card or a corporate Visa or MasterCard debit card. And you say to yourself, hey, you know what? I'm going to go get some groceries. And you use your corporate card to buy them. The CRA doesn't like that. I don't care. If I feel like buying groceries, I'm doing it. If I feel like going to Starbucks and having a $27 coffee, I'm going to do it. And I will do it with any credit card that I'm legally allowed to use. All right? My own personal cards, my corporate cards, my whatever cards I've got. I will spend that money and I'm not going to justify my actions to anyone. And the CRA, when you're foolish enough to let them audit you, will always ask you, hey, this looks like a grocery store. Did you buy groceries on your corporate account for you? And a lot of people say, oh, yes, I didn't know what to do. I needed groceries. I had my cousins over and my nieces and nephews, and they were all hungry. You actually justify yourself. Instead of telling the guy, get the fuck out of my place. That's what you tell them. You people actually answer their questions. And you actually are afraid of these idiots asking you questions about asinine things. Who cares? If any of you out there are buying groceries with your own credit cards, it's none of my business. And it's no one else's business but yours. It's between you and the grocery store, not you and the CRA. So influencers, don't be frightened by this. If you've got a corporation and you're making a ton of money talking online or dancing online or picking your nose online and blah, 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 all that stuff, just keep the money when you're making it. Spend it wherever you want. All right, next. What's the solution? Again, contact me. I'll get you a corporation registered. I'm going to teach you how to hide all of your money through that corporation and others and international bank accounts, and I'll make sure that you never pay tax again. Number 9. Oh boy. This is one of my absolute favorites. It's like the top 3. All right. The most common tax problems that Canadian online creators, YouTubers, TikTokers, and blah, blah, blah have with the Canada Revenue Agency include, number 9, cryptocurrency and NFT transactions. Many online creators receive Bitcoin, good. Ethereum, good. Stable coins, good. NFTs, I'm not into NFTs, guys, at all. And token-based sponsorships, good. The CRA has increasingly focused on crypto reporting, and creators often fail to track fair market value received. Yeah, because who cares? Capital gains, because, yeah, you don't have to report those. Business income, again, no one's business. Just take the money and shut up about it. And dispositions and exchanges. All right, so here's what I do, everyone. I offer one hell of a service. And I also say, if you pay in crypto, everyone, you'll get a 10% discount, regardless of how big that discount is. So if I was to write you a $1 million consultation bill and you say, I want to pay you an XRP, I say, great. You just saved yourself $100,000. because that 10% is valid. I honor all of my contracts. Now, do you think for a second that I'm going to get to my ledger and go, oh my God, I got to write this down. So it was John Smith, and we were at these coordinates here at this address at this time, and we were at this restaurant, and we discussed this, and I just got to go, okay. And now, oh my God, tomorrow it's going to be a different price. What do I do? What do I do? Or do I just cross it off on the invoice, paid, XRP, this day, this time? Screenshot of the transaction in my crypto wallet, and then a screenshot of me transferring it to my hard wallet. Goes in my book. Now what? You think for a second I care beyond that point? If you're paying me, let's say $900,000 in XRP for a job well done, I'm not doing anything with it. I don't care about the capital loss in the following year. I don't care about the capital gain the following month. I do not care about the spike and the value of it going up and down. And I most certainly am not going to ask the permission of the Canada Revenue Agency or anyone in government. Hey, is it okay if I earn crypto? And is it okay if I just, kind of like, not pay tax on it? I'm not asking permission. I'm taking the money. I'm doing the job I was contracted to do, and I'm keeping the money. Under no circumstances am I spending my time doing paperwork for someone else that doesn't pay me. You want me to do paperwork, you better pay me. You got two ways to get it done. Pay me for my time at my rate, not your rate, my rate, or put a gun to my head. So long as you've got that in your favor, you might get what you want. Then again, you might not, depending on what kind of a day I've had. That's all. You think some letter from the CRA is going to get me to jump and say, oh yeah, I'm going to check out this crypto transaction. I'm going to mark everything down. I'm going to monitor it every week and call the CRA when it goes up and call the CRA when it goes down. Think about this. Let's just say, guys, you bought Bitcoin when it was $10,000 and it skyrocketed to 140,000 Canadian dollars. Do you really think that you're obligated to phone the CRA? Hi guys, I bought 20 Bitcoin and I made $120,000 on each one. Why would you do that? How's about this? How's about just shut up? Keep the Bitcoin. Don't tell your friends about it. Stop bragging. That's everyone else's problem. Y'all brag. Oh, yeah, I bought a Bitcoin. I bought it. I only spent $100,000 and now I'm like $6 million worth. That makes people jealous. You know what they'll do? They'll call the CRA and snitch on you. Just shut up about it, man. This is your financial future. It's nobody's business. So I receive Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, sometimes Cardano, definitely Solana. Oh yeah. In a desperate situation, I'll even take Litecoin and Dogecoin because I know how to move those around pretty fast. I'm not making phone calls to anybody reporting any of it for any reason at any time. I'm going to keep it because it's mine. And if the CRA ever wants me to report anything to them, all they've got to do is send a contract my way with a promissory note within it to pay me, let's say starting rate $250,000 for an initial consultation and $1,500 an hour to do the paperwork. And then I'll think about giving a shit enough to try concerning myself with the idea of signing that contract. Maybe, probably not. And you know that they are not going to compensate you for your time. So with the CRA, if you are an influencer and you get paid in crypto, would you just keep the money and be quiet about it, please? You don't put that on your tax return, man. They will milk you for everything you've got. So the Kevin J. Johnston solution, once again, I'll register you a corporation or corporations plural. We'll get you bank accounts in multiple countries. You're going to, and you'll have to get multiple crypto accounts and get hard wallets. We'll do all of these things. I'll consult with you properly to make sure that you are completely protected from the Canada Revenue Agency. Remember, guys, they're not cops. They're just a bunch of big mouth jerks. That's all that they are. My God, make money. Keep it. Keep it. Hey, number 10. This is my least favorite, but it is the funniest of them all because the CRA, they love to threaten that they are going to do a lifestyle audit. Imagine a lifestyle audit. you lie. Let's say you lie to the CRA. You have nothing to your name, but you hang out with a very good friend who won big at the racetrack 10 years earlier and invested well. And let's just say your buddy feels sorry for you and says, come live in my house for a year, get yourself back on your feet. And the CRA come by that house, which is not yours, and they look around, and you're an idiot and a jerk. You sit back with a cigar and you say, yeah, this is my house, and that's my car outside, that's my Lamborghini, that's my Porsche. The pool in the back is Spanish porcelain, and then you tell them all these things. They're going to ask you, where did you get the money to buy all of this? And you're going to say, I did good at the racetrack. I did good there. I'm an investor. You know what they're going to do? They're going to add up the retail value of all of the stuff that they see. TV, porcelain, china plates, table, chair, everything, computer, laptop, the jewelry you're wearing, the clothes you're wearing, the house itself. They're going to evaluate all of this, and they're going to assess you for more than double what all of that is worth. And they're going to say, yeah, you must have earned this much money to afford all these wonderful things. So we're just going to go ahead and assess you on your taxes. Yeah, it's called a lifestyle audit. So if a creator reports $30,000 of income while displaying luxury vehicles, expensive travel, high-end watches, large homes, large TVs, lots of chicks hanging around, yachts, whatever it might be, this discrepancy can attract CRA scrutiny. The agency may compare reported income against spending patterns and financial records. So this is, again, why you don't talk about your stuff. You don't talk to the government. You do not let auditors into your property. You don't do any of this, because they will write down everything that they see. And they're going to ask you, where did you get this money? What are you going to say? Well, I mean, the correct answer is get the hell out of here. The correct answer is not to let them in the first place, but they are going to assess you based on the value of everything that they see. You could just be some guy at a party and you tell the CRA, yeah, just come by my friend's house. And you're standing outside with a wine glass and there's like 30 Porsches around you. They're going to add up the value of all those Porsches, even if they're not yours, and tax you on the income that you would have had to have made to be able to afford those. So if you have houses and Porsches and Lamborghinis and Ferraris and McLarens and Lotuses and whatever else, if you put them all into a corporation or multiple corporations that you are the shareholder of, but not the director of, they're going to look at all these things. They're going to realize this guy doesn't own them. All you got to do is say, yeah, listen, guys, these are good friends of mine. And fungu, I'm not cooperating. So you're not going to be able to be held accountable for owning them, because if anyone looks at the license plates, they decide to go to the MTO and look them up. They don't belong to you. They belong to some numbered corporation. So they can't tax you on your lifestyle. And it is entirely possible, everybody, that you did get an inheritance when you were 16, when you didn't have to pay any tax on that, and you're just living off of it. It doesn't earn any interest. Let's say your uncle left you $27 million, $30 million in the bank, and you very gingerly spent it here and there on a few things. You never made income. You didn't put it in the bank. You just keep it under the floorboards, right? If they don't know about it, they can't tax it. So everything that you own, folks, needs to be in corporations. And that way, if you're showing that you make nothing on paper and you own nothing on paper, it doesn't matter how lavishly you've got your feet up on your own couch or someone else's couch. They're not going to be able to tax you on it because you're not cooperating. And it's not in your name. All right. So again, the solution, everyone, make sure I'm your tax guy, and I'll hide all of your assets. I'll hide all your money. You will never pay tax again. We only have about 3 more minutes for me to finish off this lecture, and then we're going to start the Q&A. Start writing down your questions. I'll take them in a couple of minutes here. And finally, most audited influencer activities. The areas that are most frequently creating CRA disputes are: 1, undeclared sponsorship income. Well, if I'm your tax guy and we're hiding it in a second, third, or fourth corporation, they're not going to know about it. 2, GST and HST compliance. Again, if I'm your tax guy, I'm going to make sure that your taxes are level. You'll never pay tax again. You're never going to have HST or GST problems. 3, business use of home claims. Well, look, if you're an influencer out there, you're allowed to write off almost a third of your entire house. If I'm your tax guy, it's going to get done right the first time. If you go to these stupid CPAs all over the country, they're going to get it wrong and you're going to pay tax. Number 4, vehicle expenses. I tend to not even bother with vehicle expenses anymore, everybody, because marketing expenses and legal expenses and all these other ones are so considerably higher that it's not even worth the time to write down vehicle expenses anymore. All right. So you put gas in the car, you got to write down how many kilometers you drove. That's work. You know, and you go get, if you're driving a simple GM, what does it cost for brakes? $400? Hey, well, that's no write-off worth talking about. But if you go across the road and get a marketing plan put together and it's $30,000, that's the invoice you want. You want to write the big stuff off. All right. So it's actually a lot of work for you to record vehicle expenses. And in a lot of cases, vehicle expenses, even with insurance, tend to be less than $7,000 a year. It's a very tiny write-off compared to the good stuff. So we chase the good stuff. Number 5, travel expenses. Well, if you're going to talk business with anybody on your trip, you can write it all off. All of it. Okay, we get there. Number 6, meals and entertainment. Write them all off. Now, get the waitress to ask you how business was today. And you say, fine. Now it's a business write-off. Write them all off. Cryptocurrency transactions, if you just shut up about those, they don't know. You get to keep all your crypto. You don't pay tax. And number 8, foreign income reporting. You're not legally obligated to do so as a Canadian citizen. So just leave it in the country in which you're earning it. Fly, open a corporation, come see me in Panama. I'll get you a corporation and a bank account. Put the money in the bank. Leave it there. Don't take it to Canada. Yeah? You can actually take your foreign credit card attached to your foreign bank account and live your entire life off of that. Why not? Number 9, shareholder loan issues. We don't do shareholder loans. We do corporate withdrawals. I'm the best tax guy in Canada for a reason, and that is I do not get anybody flagged on T5 with those stupid dividends that get taxed 48%. Instead, we do corporate withdrawals, 0 tax, everybody. And number 10, unreported affiliate revenue. If you are making affiliate money, just shut up. Shut up. Quiet. Be quiet. Quiet. Stop talking and you'll be able to keep it. All right. And I'm being asked here, have I ever written a book? Yes, I've written 5. Nothing about tax yet. I should. But my bestseller was Masks Are Bullshit, when I debunked all that COVID caca. Yeah, it was a great book, by the way. I thoroughly enjoyed writing that one. I had a lot of fun. So for influencers earning over $100,000 annually, this is according to the CRA, maintaining detailed records of sponsorship contracts, invoices, receipts, banking records, affiliate statements, and platform payout reports is particularly important if the CRA reviews the business. But if you tell them, no, you will not audit me, I will not cooperate, this conversation's over, you can keep your records as sloppily as you want. You can be slovenly about any of it. Just shut the fuck up about all of your taxes, all of your earnings, all of the stuff that you do on your private time. Stop talking to people about what you earn and how you earn it. Stop bragging about the celebrities that you're getting paid by. Stop bragging about the $6,000 Armani shirt you just got as a gift. You get $2,000 shoes given to you as a gift. Shut up about it. You do not have to brag. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, it's not going to earn you more money to go to people who don't have money and brag about the expensive things that you've purchased or that you've been given. So you have to think it through. You know what you do with really expensive clothing and really expensive shoes? You put them on and you go to where the really rich guys are who are wearing the same stuff and then hobnob there. But you don't call your friends, hey guys, guess what? I'm at this big wine party and everybody here makes 40 million bucks a year. Why would you do that? Hey, if you get caught doing that, the millionaires are going to stop hiring you. You have to think, all of you got to think like a millionaire now. Millionaires have millions of dollars because they don't pay tax. And for all you Canadian millionaires out there who are afraid of the CRA, don't you think it's time that you kept every penny of all the millions that you make? We have been taking on quite a few very wealthy Canadians in the last little while. I'll never tell anybody who they are. And we are saving them literally millions of dollars with the same strategies that I'm now telling all of you influencers out there that you need to be implementing. It's your money. It's your effort. It's your education. It's your time. It's your blood, your sweat, your tears. My God, everybody. I used to think about, my God, wouldn't it be great if my heart just stopped when I was running businesses in the past? Because some of them, they'd climb and they'd fail and I couldn't figure out the mistakes I was making. All the stress that I've had to go through in life to be where I am today, I refuse to be taxed on any of that. Think about it, everyone. When I was a disc jockey back at age 18, I slept in a pickup truck. I lived in a pickup truck for 2 years. It wasn't easy. Believe me, it was actually quite annoying where I would have to make deals with churches on nights where it was just too cold to sleep in a truck and sleep in the basement of a church on the floor. I've been there. It's a long haul. It's a long way to the top. And the only reason I actually got to the top again this time is because I walked away from the tax system in its entirety. I am not paying a penny of it. I never will again. My life is awesome when I get to wake up and work, which I love to do. I work 15-hour days. I'm not out there partying and gallivanting. I still have not even bought a car yet in Panama. I don't need one. But I get paid well for what I do, and I get to keep it all. And that makes it all worthwhile, getting paid for my effort and keeping it all. And if all of you could just learn how to keep your mouths closed about what you make and stop talking to the CRA and stop believing that the Canada Revenue Agency and FinTrack are somehow cops and accept what I'm telling you, that they are just a bunch of collection agents, losers, trying their very best to hurt you. And you're letting them do it. Stop, please. These are psychopaths who laugh when you're crying on the phone. You have to become a monster against these individuals. There's no points for being nice. Nice guys finish last, and women who cry always end up paying more tax. So all of you have got to bring it up, not a notch, all the notches. I'm not in this room coming here for sensationalism. This is what I do for a living. I fight the Canadian government on behalf of my clients for a living. And I do shut up about everything I have. There is no way on God's green earth that any branch of the Canadian government is going to find out what I have. And you need to live your life the exact same way. And I'm the only one in Canada telling you the truth about the fact that you could actually do this. And I'm the only one that knows how to get it done. All right. There it is. Influencers never pay tax again. It is now question and answer period. So let's get those questions and answers going right now. I'm going to head on over to let's start with YouTube, everyone. Let's go to YouTube first. They've been very patient. All right, so we have, so Kevin, can you explain what to do if someone is getting their wages garnished from the employer? Yes, we send a notice of liability to the employer. We let them know that we have disputed the actual CRA nonsense there, and that we tell them that we will sue you if you do not give us the paycheck. That is what we have to do, because when the CRA issues a garnishment notice, it's just a letter. It's a requirement to pay letter. And they always say to your boss, if you don't give us the money, we may hold you accountable. Not will, but may hold you accountable. And of course, the boss always loses. Oh my God, I don't want to be held accountable. Accountable for what? Hey, don't you people realize that in order for the CRA to actually threaten you properly, that they have to have a court order signed by a judge? If it's not a court order, you don't have to do anything. If the CRA sends a requirement to pay letter, you simply write back as an employer, everyone, hey, could I get a court order, please? because I do not believe you. And it's not your job to police the salaries and the tax behaviors of others. That's not your job. It's the same idea as FinTrack, everybody, who wants real estate agents and everybody else out there to start collecting information on their clients to report back to FinTrack. Why? I'm not the police. I'm not doing your job for you. I don't care where people's money come from. So yeah, you have to talk to your boss about that. You've got to send that whole thing out the door. By the way, everyone on YouTube, you were telling me that there's no sound on YouTube. Can YouTubers hear me? If you can hear it? Okay, very good. All right, next, let's head over to the Rumble room. Randy, could you please get the Rumble questions up, if you don't mind? Stick them into the chat here in StreamYard, and I'm going to address them. I can't see Rumble tonight. Brand new computer, everyone. Brand new computer. All right, let's go to TikTok. Let's see here. What do we got? How do I register a car into a corporation? Well, it's simple. We register a corporation for you, and then we register the vehicle as being owned by that corporation. That's that. Also, everyone, we are going to be opening up our own corporation and allowing Canadians to have their vehicles in that corporation. So there's always a way to get a car out of your personal name and into a corporation, which you should do, especially with all the photo radar and everything out there. It's not as difficult as you think. You would take the articles of incorporation, your identification, and say, here, I am not the owner of the company, but I am the representative of the company, and we want to put this vehicle into this company. All right. So it seems that the volume may have dropped out a little bit tonight, folks. I do apologize for that. Fit Chick question: what's the difference between sales and just referrals? When we want to send you people and get paid, is there any formal training? Yes, there absolutely is. So anybody that wants to sell for me, my commissions are the highest in the business. Go to my website. Let me know that you would like to be a sales rep, everyone, and we will get you the appropriate training. Can you go over how to open up an American corporation? Absolutely. Go to wyomingllcattorney.com. Register the corporation, about $100, $150, something like that. Immediately apply for your EIN number. That's where the FBI investigates you to make sure you're not a bad drug dealer or a bad gun runner, and you will pass. When you pass, now you've got an employment insurance number. You can start doing business with it. That's when you move money into the States and apply for your E2 visa. And once you apply for that, you'll probably get it within, let's say, 6 months. And once you get your E2 visa, you can move whatever you want into that corporation. Everything will be protected. I'm turning 71 in August from Gene. Do you have your RRSP info ready when I can receive the money? Oh, yeah. All right, here, let me tell you about the RRSP. That's a very good question, everyone. The RRSP is a scam. It's called the Registered Retirement Savings Plan. So what happens is you contribute a little bit of money to it as you're growing older. And as you're growing older, they say it's tax-free. Yeah, but when you cash it out, they tax the crap out of it. So all you're doing is deferring the tax that you would pay on a little bit of money into a huge, whopping tax bill in your 60s and 70s. There's a term with the RRSP. It's called cancellation of an RRSP. Now here, check this out. A bank or a brokerage house or a trustee can hold your RRSP for you. And when you say, I want the money, they say, we're obligated, obligated to hold 30% of it back and give it to the CRA because. And I always ask them, well, what happens if you just give me all the money? Well, we don't know, but the CRA is not going to like it. They're going to give us trouble. I don't want to go to jail. Ah! You know what would happen if you were somebody who canceled an RRSP and gave 100% of the RRSP to the person asking for it? You know what would happen to you? Nothing. The CRA would have to sue you for the money, and they don't sue people. I covered that earlier in the show. So we have opened up a couple of trust accounts. We're not going to say where. We're not going to say who we're involved with, but this year we will be able to cancel our RRSPs. When that happens, I'll make the announcement, everybody, and you're going to get 100% of your RRSP back. Yeehaw! Remember, it's your money. I want to make sure you keep it all. Next. Kind of Lena says, foreign pension, good idea to just stop reporting. Yeah, if you've got a foreign pension and it's going into an American or a Panamanian or a Mexican bank account, just shut up about it. It's yours. Take the money, shut up. Do what you want with it, everyone. Shh. If it's foreign income and it's in another country, shh, quiet. Chief Justice, how do I remove writs from my property? Well, it depends on how the writ was placed and who placed it. If the writ was placed there by the Canada Revenue Agency, they most likely did not serve you anything. There was no court case, so you can actually file criminal charges for fraud against the individual agent that did that. You can sue the CRA, hit them for something big like 10 million bucks, tort fraud lawsuit. And then what we do is just redo your taxes, set them to zero, and the writ goes away anyway. You're most likely going to win that lawsuit. The CRA are a bunch of dirty bastards, and they will always, always, always sneak around behind your back. They will never disclose a damn thing to you. They just go and get writs. But they do warn you in advance. So here's the big thing. When they say that we may take legal action, if you ignore them for 2 or 3 years, they will go and get a writ. All right, but the writ is not against the house. The writ is against you. And if you do not own a house in your name, like, your house is owned by a corporation, then the writ just stays on you. It never goes on a property. That is why you should never have property or cars or gold or silver or crypto in your own name. Clayton, 2 years behind in corporate tax. Company dissolved. Should I still file? No. Clayton, here's what you do. You have to revive the corporation and sell it to me. And that way, I can completely destroy your connection to being a director of that corporation, and they can never come at you for anything. We got a big problem in Canada right now. The Canada Revenue Agency is going out of their way to find corporations that were just dissolved or just people stopped using them, and they are deliberately assessing money on them. Even if you didn't do any business, they're just assessing money. So for all of you out there who have a dead corporation, revive it, sell it to me, and then you are completely and totally off the hook. Next here. Property tax. What about it? All right, guys. So you know me. I'm always honest with everybody. I have not figured out how to eliminate property tax yet. It's the only tax in Canada that I would ever pay. The only one. I will one day figure it out. You know that, but not yet. Scotty tells me I've got fraudsters posting on my account. Right. That's why I tell all of you, don't DM anyone on social media. I do not talk through DM. If you're currently talking to me in a DM, it ain't me. If you're talking to somebody on Signal, Telegram, or WhatsApp, it ain't me, because I do not make sales through any of those applications. It's all through my website, kevinjjohnston.com. My name, Kevin J, last name is Johnston, kevinjjohnston.com. If you are currently conversing with anyone, it ain't me. Unless you're talking to me in a chat room where you can say, hey, Kev, pick up the mouse off of your desk there. Hey, Kev, let's make sure you're not an AI plant. Have a sip of water. No problem. Hey, Kev, do a handstand and juggle 3 soccer balls with your feet. I'll try. I might fall right through the camera, but at least you'll know that I'm not AI. Don't talk to anyone at all through social media. It's a fake, period. All right. Richie says there's plenty of bootlickers happy to do the work for free of the CRA. Yeah, it's incredible how many people will actually do what the CRA wants, and they'll do it free of charge. I cannot understand why any adult wants to work for free. I don't work for free. Neither should you. Can we put our fourplex into a corporation? Absolutely, Rita. You should do it now. Now. What are you waiting for? Let's get that done so that the CRA does not chase it ever in the future. I want to open a bank account in the United States. Can my company put my pay in that account? Legally, yes. It'd be a matter of if they're a lazy bunch of jerks, no. But what you would do is get yourself a WISE account, WISE.com. That is an international bank. The Canadian government cannot attack it in any way, and they allow payroll just like a bank does. Get that now. All right. Can you buy and sell cars in the corporation for profit? Sure you can. You sell whatever you want for profit. Listen, guys, I'll never forget it. William Shatner, everyone knows Captain Kirk. God bless him. He's almost like, what, 93 years old, and he's still making movies? Look, he was at the Toronto Comic Con. And as he arrived, I never got a chance to meet the guy, but I saw him 50 feet away, and he had a water bottle. Now, as soon as he got up and he left the autograph table, like 9 guys went running, and it was weird. They all had gloves on. And one guy got the bottle, put it in a pillowcase, and he was gone. So I asked him, what the freaking hell was that? And it turns out that there is a market on eBay for water bottles that were drunk from by celebrities. So if you have William Shatner's spit in a plastic bottle, you can sell that for a profit through a corporation. Absolutely you can. The whole idea of having a corporation is that you do not have any personal liability for the business that you're doing. That's all that it is. Sell cars, trucks, needles, pliers, houses, whatever you want to do. Razor, does the CRA use media profile data to cross-reference an influencer's lifestyle against the reported taxes? They say they do, but they're idiots. Remember, the CRA is full of a lot of people who just aren't that smart. And this AI that they're using is extremely rudimentary AI. No, there would be no way for them to do so except for an assumption. And everything that the CRA does is a wild guess. They don't know. They know nothing. They guess. And as a result of them guessing, they'll send you out an assessment. The best thing you can do is make sure that everything is in a corporation, including your money, cars, and houses, and there's nothing they can do. Nothing that they can do, period. It's kind of funny, actually. My lifestyle is exactly opposite. There's a lot of people out there who are extremely broke, but online, they put these rich personas on where they go to the bank and they get $100 bill, 2 of them, one here, one there, and they put 1,000 ones in between, and they wave cash around. Oh, yeah, look at me, I'm so rich. It's weird. I'm on the other side of that. I'm wealthy, quite wealthy, but I wear t-shirts and shorts everywhere I go. My wardrobe is actually quite a joke. I've got a suit that I can't put on anymore because I've got like an extra 2 inches on my arms since I bought that shirt. I'm bench pressing 275, so I can't get my jacket around my chest anymore. Just how it is. And I haven't bothered replacing the suit. So no tax institute is ever going to look at me and say, this guy's lifestyle is way too high for what he's got. I've told you earlier in the show, I've lived in Panama City now for 2.25 years. I haven't even bought a car. Why? Because even though I'm wealthy, I'm not above a $5 Uber ride. I'm not above walking 5 kilometers during rush hour because it's faster. I'm not above a 35-cent subway ride. That's how you need to be perceived by the CRA. Be perceived as broke. Be rich. Be perceived as broke. I mean, if your shtick is like Andrew Tate, where it's, look at me, I got money. That's his shtick. I like the guy. I do. But that's his thing. I would never froth at the mouth like he does and wave money in the camera and tell young men to be a disrespectful jerk off just because I'm looking for traffic. Instead, what I'm telling all of you is to be disrespectful to the CRA and the Canadian government, but be extremely self-respecting, keep your money, and make sure you hide what you got, because otherwise you're going to lose it. All right, let's move on here. Why Wyoming instead of registering a corporation in Florida? Because Wyoming is cheap. It has no state tax. It has frontier law, which means that the state of Wyoming is not going to help any other state collect money from you. That's awesome. Wyoming rocks. Very, very cheap place to live as well. Anybody who wants me to call them, got to get a hold of me through my website, please. Mike says, can you transfer a property into a numbered corporation if there's a mortgage on it? Yes, you can. Some provinces are tricky. BC is the trickiest, but yes, you can. Ontario is really easy. Does Quebec follow the same things you're saying? Oh my God, Quebec. All right. I like Quebec from the state. Well, I don't like it anymore. I liked Quebec in the 80s and the 90s because Toronto is an uptight city in comparison to most around the world. But Montreal and Quebec City are party, party, party. And, you know, when I was 18, 19 and my testosterone was through the friggin' roof, you know why I'm going to Montreal and places like that. But what I want to get at now is I'm older and I've studied law since I was 18 years old. And I realized that Quebec is it's really one effed up place, man. You have an entire province that joined Confederation, but retained civic law so it can do whatever it wants. Quebec has no industry except tourism, and they've screwed that up now. And they don't produce a damn thing except problems. And all of Western Canada gives them money so they can sit around drinking wine and playing bocce ball. Quebec's rules are screwed, man. Now, if you have a sign in English on your post, or a garage sale sign in your house, or a sign on your business, you, by law, and there's language police there, must have the same message twice the size en français, has to be in French. And Quebec, because it's in civic law, has their own revenue agency called the Revenu de Québec, and they are worse than the CRA. So what you do to get what I'm saying to work in Quebec is you can have a house in Quebec and you can run a business in Quebec, but the house needs to be owned by an Ontario-based corporation. You need to be an Ontario resident, and your business needs to be an Ontario-based corporation. It's crazy to do anything in Quebec if you're under Quebec's rule. And yes, the Charter of Rights and Freedoms allows you to be an Ontario resident, but live most of the year in Quebec. You are absolutely allowed to do so. Avoid Quebec tax at all cost, everybody. Great question. 2K Beamer, Realtor. Do you know if the CRA listens to you weekly? The CRA listens to everything I say. CSIS and the Royal Canadian Mounted Police transcribe everything I say. I know. I've got the disclosure that proves all of that. Guys, I've had the Canadian government on my back for a long time. And the only thing that the Canadian government really ever comes up with is that I'm too knowledgeable and I'm too eager to teach the people that they've got the right to not do what they're told by the government. And they don't like that, but it's not illegal. That's the thing. It's not illegal for me to educate you. Isn't that incredible? Yeah, you know, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, they showed me a disclosure package like this thick. I have it with me. Not in the office, but I should read it to you one day. And in this disclosure package, they admit to the fact that they had a whole bunch of losers in their stupid outfit, probably on horseback, doing God knows what to the horses, watching my videos. Yeah, they, at the time, when I got this disclosure in 2021, they had watched over 5,000 of my videos and transcribed them manually just to see if I had ever made any hate speech statements, and they couldn't find a thing in 5,000 videos. Why? Because I'm a wordsmith. I've got a huge vocabulary. I'm not going to come out here and tell you to break the law. Why would I do that? I'm certainly not going to come on my show and actually break the law. So yes, to answer your question, every branch of the Canadian government watches this show. I'm sure half the audience are losers working for the Canadian government right now, taking notes and wiping their nose. Why does he say these things? Why won't he just comply? Why won't he be sheep like the rest of the country? That's what they're doing. And let them keep doing it. They know they suck, and they know I'm awesome. Yeah, and if you're doing what I'm doing, not only will you be awesome too, but you're going to be rich. All right? There you go. Yes, WISE. You're all asking me to repeat what I said about WISE. WISE.com. If you have a WISE account, you can connect any bank account to it that you want within North America, and you can give all the branch transit information to your employer, and your paychecks can go there. And the CRA cannot do anything about it. How do you get loans for a new corporation? Good question. What you want to do is you want to make sure that you buy up some old corporation. There's a lot of people selling shelf corporations out there. Grab one of those. The new corporation owns the old corporation. The old one has financial statements, and the old one applies. How do you get a U.S. bank account from Canada? Relay.com, RELAY.com. TikTok.com. But you have to have an American corporation for that. I highly recommend Wyoming. Yes, Wyoming LLC attorney.com. Go there, get that done. Why do you have videos saying no one wants the job? Okay. I explained that actually at the beginning of the show. So you'll have to watch the replay if you want me to do that or to go through that. CRA froze my bank account. How soon should I sue my bank? Today, but you do have to give them 15 days. So you have to give them what is called a notice of liability. Let them know that a lawsuit is coming. Give them 15 days to put the money back in the account, or show you a court order signed by a judge, which they will not be able to do. And then you just hit them with the lawsuit and serve it to everyone that works in that branch. All right. Here's a good comment, actually. Mimineo says, it's nice to see that you're so humble. Most rich people I know look down on the little people. Now, looking down on people doesn't make money. I can tell you the truth, guys. Being rude and crass and vulgar and mean, just generally unkind is not what I want to portray, because that's not who I am. By no means do I want to walk around with my nose in the air treating people like crap. What benefit is that to me? It's much more of a benefit for me to walk in a room, introduce myself to everybody in the room, and not necessarily be the life of the party, but at least quickly jut around, find the most interesting conversation and stick with that conversation for the night, but not be rude to the ones who are not interesting. It doesn't make sense to be callous and cold and cruel until you're in business with someone who's trying to work you over a little bit. Then your sinister side needs to come out. But no, I don't look down on people because there's nothing to gain. All right. Luxury Era says, I told my husband about you. He doesn't want to do anything, with a kind of a face. Complacency and comfort are horrible things. You never want to be complacent, and you never want to be comfortable. You know who was comfortable? Archie Bunker. For those who know that reference, the TV show All in the Family. Archie Bunker was a sad character, a taxi driver who came home, sat in a TV, and screamed at his family because he knew he was a loser and couldn't figure out how to be a winner. Right? Now, he was funny doing it because Carol O'Connor, the actor, is an incredible talent. All right? Great show. But a lot of people are like that. Complacent, comfortable, hiding from the world. The most common response that I get when I tell people you've got the right to fight the CRA, you've got the right to take the banks and the CRA to court. I don't want backlash. Oh my God, what happens in that? What do you think the CRA is going to do? If you sue the bank, do you think that hitmen are coming to your house? If you sue the CRA, do you think that Parminder Salam inking, whatever his name is coming to your house and capturing your dog and holding it ransom? What exactly is backlash? And you haven't thought it through. You've put this idea in your head that they're going to come at you, but you haven't thought through with what, how, why, what legal standing would they have to do so? These are the questions you got to ask. Remember, folks, I used to be a journalist. I ask a lot of questions. Now, really, if there is a God in the afterlife, I'm going to drive him nuts with the number of questions I've got. You need to be as curious about your life as I am about life in general. Get asking those questions, folks. And if you're going to be afraid of something, really ask yourself why. Why are you afraid? All right. So Rita says, our fourplex is in Quebec. I have a mortgage. Can you still put it into a corporation? Yes, but make sure it's an Ontario-based corporation. You got to do it that way. Oh, yeah, Quebec, they lost the Expos and the Nordiques. You know, too much tax, too much red tape, too Hitleristic in their behavior. Something about Canadians. And look, I'm a Canadian citizen. I grew up in Canada. All right. Something about Canadians that the world doesn't really understand is that Canadians love to control stuff, but they don't want the responsibility that goes with the control. If you want to control things, you better be able to convince people that you should be in control. You should pay them a salary if you want to be in control, and you need to be charismatic, but very few are. Canadians love to tell other people what to do, but at the same time, they love to follow rules and they hate those who do not follow the rules. Canadians will never support their own kind, ever, until they become famous somewhere else. John Candy, prime example, made $0 working in Canada. Goes to Los Angeles, becomes a movie star. Now Canadians say, John Candy, he's Canadian, man. Like, we really show those Americans. Jim Carrey, same thing. His family lived in a tent on their uncle's lawn for years because they were broke. He made nothing in Canada because Canadians would not support him and his talent. He had to go to the States, get rich and famous there. And of course, Canadians say, yeah, Jim Carrey, he's Canadian. Another one. Yeah, we're taking over the United States. What a stupid way to think. Why are there no opportunities in Canada? Because Canadians are too busy trying to control everything. That's why nobody can make money in Canada. Every single time you try to do something, someone's got their hands out looking for money. The city wants the permit fee. The fire department wants you to hire them to come out and inspect the grounds. The cops are going to come by looking for a bribe. Yeah, and by the time you get everything done, you have been talking to at least 25 branches of government. And all of them want to control what you're doing. There was a video essay that I did once on how to open up a restaurant in Toronto. There are 13 branches of government that you had to go through just to get the final okay to open the doors on your restaurant. That's not how you run a city. That's not how your society makes money. That's not how you create jobs. The whole idea for government is to set the rules so that we can all succeed following the law and then get the freaking hell out of the way and let us make money. But that's not how Canada functions. And Quebec is the worst of that. So if you are trying to make money and you're in Quebec, you're not going to. Just get the hell out. Leave. And I mean that. That comes from a lot of studying, folks. All right. I don't do bills of exchanges, guys. Not interested in that. No, I'm not a free man on the land. I'm not into that. Please stay away from those people. The free man on the land movement, the sovereign citizen movement, they're just going to get you in trouble. All right. I follow the law. Everything I'm telling you is backed by case law, and everything I'm telling you exists fully and is completely complicit with the Criminal Code of Canada. I do not care about policy. I do not care about the rules of civil law. I don't care about the Income Tax Act or the Excise Tax Act. You can't do prison time for telling the CRA where to go. You certainly can't do prison time for giving the cops the finger either. All right, these are just not things I care about. I stay complicit with the law, nothing else. And the biggest thing here, everyone, is the CRA and the judges out there and whatnot. They're not. They're all breaking the law, and none of you are doing anything about it. Alrighty. If I sell my rental property through my corporation, how's the best way to move the money to personal? Get a WISE account and put it there. And do whatever you want with the WISE account. Buy crypto, buy gold, buy silver, buy another property, and put it into a corporation. That's what you do. Having money in a personal bank account in Canada is ridiculous. First off, you're losing money every day. Buying power on the Canadian dollar drops every month. All right? All on top of that, when you're comparing the Canadian dollar to the US dollar, you're losing like nano portions of a penny every day, but it adds up. Why would you want Canadian dollars? I don't. We make money, we move it to the States, we move it to Panama, we put it in crypto, we put it into property, gold, silver, whatever else it might be. It's not liquid cash. There's no point. The banking system in Canada sucks. 2K Beamer, if we file our taxes with you as our tax guy, will they put us through the grinds? No, because they know what's going to happen if they do. We will track down the individual agent at home, put a lien on their property, file charges, make their lives a living hell, which is what our right is, by the way. Somebody wants to make your life hell, fight back. Yeah, there you go. All right, everyone. Should it be a business WISE account? No, start with the personal one because you can put your personal and business in the same WISE account. All right, just do that. You're going to be fine. How old am I? 54. Oh, I guess we just answer all the questions now. 5'6", lovely gray hair, steaming brown eyes. What else? Oh, yeah, body fat percentage. What was it today? What was it? 22.5. There you go. So there's the stats for you. David, as for the RSP thing, I'm actually going to do a whole show next month on our RSPs. So sit tight. We'll get there for you. Okay. Can you get a franchise from me? Well, actually, folks, we do have a lot of people that just choose to start selling our tax services. I pay ridiculously huge commissions. So if anybody wants to be a salesman, let me know. Get over to my website and do it there, please. All right. Can an overseas property be put into a corporation? Sure. You know, almost every country in the world has corporations that work very similar to Canada and the United States. Of course you should. Everything should be in a corporation. What do you think of the CRTC trying to get extra money from the United States streamers to promote Canadian content? First off, I would say about this much of Canadian content is actually good. Why? Because the Canadian government and the Canadian people have never invested in the Canadian filmmaking industry properly. Without the Americans going to Vancouver and Toronto and places like that to film their movies, Canada wouldn't have a movie industry at all. So with the CRTC saying we have to promote Canadian content, I don't want to watch it. Ever since they fired Don Cherry from Hockey Night in Canada, I haven't watched a single game. Not one. He was the reason I would watch Hockey Night in Canada. How about that stupid show all those years ago, Little Mosque on the Prairie? It was the most disgusting, revolting thing I'd ever seen at that time. There's worse now. Do you actually want to watch the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation? Canadian Broadcasting Corporation gets $1.4 billion a year to produce shows, and they are not capable of putting a single show in the top 20 in the ratings. Remember, everybody, in the year 2021, during COVID, when I was running for mayor of Calgary, telling you I was going to end the masking policies, I was going to end it all when I was mayor. Remember that. In a bedroom that was 10 feet wide by 8 feet deep by about 7.5 feet high, I ran a podcast that had 360,000 people watching a night, 5 nights a week. We outdid CBC. We outdid CTV and City TV combined. 5 nights a week we did that in a bedroom with a piece of green screen on a wall. And you know what? And a laptop. I actually still have the same laptop that I was using during that time. It was just a gaming laptop. It was one microphone, one laptop, $120 Logitech camera. Now, that's the kind of Canadian content that I would want to watch, is the guy that puts that kind of effort into it. But the crap on CTV and CHCH11, I'm not going to watch that. So what do I think about the CRTC trying to force the Americans into paying them? I think the Americans should just say, nah, and give up on it and go make money in Mexico, because the Mexicans will consume whatever the Americans create. And look, I've been in Latin America now for over 2 years. I can tell you, the Nicaraguans, the Costa Ricans, the Panamanians, the Colombians, everybody consumes American content. Everybody. Even though everyone says that they know kings, they don't like Trump, they don't like America. But yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. All right. There are Kiss and AC/DC and Michael Jackson cover bands all over Panama, and they sell out every night because everyone loves U.S. stuff. So Canada, if you want to consume U.S. stuff, any media, just leave. Leave. Get out. What are you going to hang around there for? So you can watch Little Mosque on the Prairie, The Return. Now, part 2. This time it's personal. Come on. Give up on it, guys. The country's done. No, I'm not a licensed lawyer. I would never be licensed by any of the law societies in Canada. They're all a joke. They're extremist left-wing nuts. No, thank you. Plus, of course, they would be telling me what to do, and I would constantly be in, well, trouble, as they say, trying to defend my right to hold my license. I don't want a license. I don't want to be licensed. And no, I'm not a licensed CPA either. You think for a second that I care one bit what the province of Ontario has to say, and has to say about the way I do taxes, and the fact that they are a private corporation makes it even worse. You don't have a CPA license. No accountant in Canada has a license. You have a membership to a private company. So who cares if the private company says, you can't be a CPA? Who cares? It's not licensable. The same thing with being a real estate agent in Canada. The big one is RECO, the Real Estate Commission of Ontario. There's like 80,000 members. It's crazy. Yeah. And they all think they've got a license. They don't. They have a membership like a gym. I don't want to be licensed by any of these idiots, these private companies, these institutions run by fools. And the only reason that these institutions make money is because the Canadian public actually believes that they are the government. When the truth actually gets out that you do not need a law license to be in court and to do what I do, and when the truth gets out that you don't need to be a registered CPA to be as good as I am in what I do for a living, once everyone figures all of that out, well, those private companies are going to start to crash. No, I'm not licensed by any branch of any of it, and I never will. Anybody who wants to sell for me, anybody who wants to be a sales rep for me and bring clients in where you're going to get huge commissions, head over to my website right now. That's kevinjjohnston.com. Do not communicate with me through direct messaging. I do not do DMs. The only DM you will ever get from me in my accounts on social media is going to be a link to my website. That is all you're going to get. If you're talking to anybody right now on TikTok, Signal, WhatsApp, Telegram, you're talking to a scammer. Get rid of them. Block them. Don't give your money away. Period. All right. I'm just checking the rest of your questions here, everybody. Oh, great question. I love this one from Senior. Are all accountants, CPAs, and CAs obligated to the CRA? Yes and no. The Canada Revenue Agency actually does have a say in the curriculum that all of these people have to follow. The CRA also frequently sends blast emails out to every CPA and CA in the country to remind them to do your taxes properly and don't cheat on taxes. And of course, all these CPAs do what they're told like good little sheep. So that means, yes, technically they do work for the CRA. And it is absolutely remarkable when I talk to CPAs how brainwashed they are, telling me that I have to do this and I have to make sure the CRA gets it. I get a lot of CPAs get mad at me when I'm telling them, I'm not doing that. You don't have to report that. You don't have to word things that way. You don't have to cooperate with an auditor. Yes, you do. Because it's the rules. That's how they sound. So yeah, if anyone out there attacks me, telling me I'm wrong, and then quotes me a CRA policy or an Income Tax Act rule, they absolutely work for the CRA. And all of you out there, before you actually give an accountant money, ask the question, can you lose your license if you don't do what the CRA says? Can the CRA pull your license? Ask them that. And if they say yes, then they're stupid on two fronts. Number one, they don't have a license. They've got a membership. And number two, the CRA has no such power. None. The CRA cannot pull your driver's license or your boat license, your plane license, your passport, your fishing license, your gun license. They can't take any of that from you. They're not cops. They're just losers. They're not the courts. They have no access to the courts. They are a bunch of losers. Do not let them frighten you into anything. And stay away from CAs and CPAs or tax lawyers who say that, yeah, you got to pay your taxes. No, you don't. All right. Okay. I think we got through all the questions. I'm going to do a quick look right now one more time at Rumble. Should we fill in the census that was sent out? If we don't, they say it's a $500 fine. Well, they say a lot of things, everybody. Yeah. The CRA says, well, we're going to take your house and we're going to take your dog and we're going to take your car. Everyone says everything. If you want to be afraid of losers on the phone who don't speak English, that's your right. But you don't have to talk to them. Hang up the phone. Someone rings your doorbell, don't answer. It's that simple, guys. If you don't talk to them, then they don't even know you exist. It is that easy. Question. I'm going on business trips to the United States. Can you do American taxes yet, or in what capacity can you help the U.S. economy? Oh, boy. Well, I've got a big announcement coming September 1st about the United States. Stay tuned. I can't tell you now what the plan is, but you're going to love it, everyone. All righty. How do you get your name off the company director title? That's a very good question. Craft. What you would need to do is get a hold of me on my website, kevinjjohnston.com. We have all the appropriate legal letters ready to go. I'm going to step you down as director at the appropriate time in the appropriate way, and we will then let the CRA know if they act on anything. We will sue them and file criminal charges. Wow. Those 2 hours just flew. What a night. Great questions. So tonight's show was episode 114, where we're talking about TikTok and influencers. Do they have to pay tax in Canada? And obviously, after this 2-hour harangue, no, you don't. Under no circumstances do you have to do anything the CRA says. If you are an international celebrity on the internet, I don't care which platform it is, TikTok, Instagram, OnlyFans, whatever. I don't judge, as I love money. If you guys want to get naked and make money, good for you. If you want to not pay tax on it, do everything I told you in tonight's show, or just make sure I'm your tax guy. And whatever millions you make, you get to keep. Anybody in Canada can be wealthy so long as you're not paying tax. My name is Kevin J. Johnston. This is the Tax and Money Show that is live every single Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on freedomreport.ca. Now, everyone, I got a little bit of bad news. This is going to be the last show for 3 weeks. I am going into surgery. It's going to be a very ugly one. I have been told to expect the worst. I don't listen to stuff like that. They're going to be cutting a lot of pieces out of me. I asked the doctor if I can keep them so I can show them to you when the surgery is complete. But I'm going to be out of commission starting this coming Sunday, and I'm going to be out of commission for 3 weeks. I apparently will be hospital bound, bedridden, and so on. Well, don't pray for me. Don't feel sorry for me. I'm just letting you know that if I'm not up to it, I won't be here, but at least you know why. So I kind of fibbed when I said it's every Tuesday at 9 o'clock, but it will be as soon as I am better. Believe me, folks, I have asked, and I am going to make sure I get those pieces so I can, maybe juggle them. All right, everyone, don't feel bad for me, guys. All right, this is not my first surgery. This is like number 9 for me. Remember, I've had 33 broken bones, 3 concussions, partial blindness in one eye. I will survive this. I promise you. And I will be back anywhere between 2 and 3 weeks from now. I'll see you then. Thanks for being here. I love you all, and good night.